Hello, we are here today. Joining us is Lisa Smith. Lisa is my investment retirement guru, is what I like to call her. She probably has a way better way of introducing herself, and I will let her do that right now.
I am so excited to be here, Tina. Um, I work with men and women all over the world and teach them how to invest and retire early. And I myself retired at 45, super exciting. And now I teach. I was actually fully retired for 6 years, and now I have decided to come back and pay it forward and teach other people how to not believe that they have to work until age 65 and be kind of in that lane of, oh, I have to work until a certain time. But really, I believe anybody can retire early with the right tools.
Awesome. And I am so grateful that you decided to give back and do this as your second career or retirement fun thing that you do, because I was just able, after signing up for your program a little over a year and a half ago, was just able to retire from my job. And I'm sure some of our viewers, we love the wins, don't we? I'm sure some of our viewers have seen my video posting about my retirement notice at work. Like I said, it was just this week, and I'm working for a couple more weeks, and then I am leaving out of the country to go travel and enjoy our retirement lifestyle. So grateful to Lisa. I think what she does is amazing. And the favorite thing I like about what Lisa's program does is it's so simple. It's easy enough that anyone can do it. She started by teaching college kids. She's taught her nieces and nephews. It's so simple that anyone can take this and run with it. So Lisa, kind of give us a breakdown of what you call the set it and forget it system.
Happy to. First of all, I want to say congratulations, Tina. This is so exciting. So I've been able to watch Tina go from, hey, I don't really know what's going on in the stock market, to I just gave notice at work and I'm living my dreams. So this is a huge success story, and I just want to congratulate you. And I'm so happy for updates. I'm just happy for you guys to have the freedom. So what for investing? I feel like we can take, sometimes we complicate this, and there's a lot of like mumbo jumbo out there that just makes people feel like they're not smart enough, or they don't have enough money. I've heard all sorts of stories that people have been told by actual financial planners. And then the unfortunate thing is most people feel like disempowered with their money or with investments. And I want to take something that seemingly is complex and make it very simple to understand. And so when I work with people, clients, they're usually getting about a 3 to 6% return in whatever investment accounts. That could be in a retirement account, or that could be a brokerage account. Because they don't teach this in schools, and parents don't know it to teach it to their kids. So one of the things we do is I want parents to teach it to their kids. So kids grow up saying, I know how to invest and I feel confident about investing. So most people are getting about a 3 to 6% return in their 401k or in their investment vehicles, when they could be getting at least a 12%. The problem with getting a 3 to 6% return is that the average fee for a financial planner in the US every year is between 2,000 and 12,000. So some people actually have a negative return in their 401k and they don't even realize it, or in their brokerage account. And they think, oh, my financial planner has this under control. But when they look at their real returns, and I would have all of your viewers, Tina, go into their account and find, sometimes they put it 3 pages back, but try to find your 1 year back, 12 months of what is your return. And just by investing in a low cost index fund, you can get something like a 12% return. So if you can triple or quadruple the amount that you have in your account, you're actually going to end up with hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars more just by doing that one thing. And so I view this as an empowerment vehicle. I think that anybody with the right tools can retire early and get their finances in order. And sometimes we've been told things. We have messages like, I've had people who just think I'm not good with math, and so I'll never be good at investing. And I'm just going to say, like, I'm not that great at math. Like I can do math, but I don't sit here. People think I sit and do like math in my head, but I have a calculator like on my phone. So I just do math there. You don't actually have to be some kind of a math whiz. It's really just anything that you can do, a simple thing on your phone. So my message is that anybody can do it. I taught 18 to 24-year-olds at the college level for 11 years how to invest. I actually taught them how to invest and retire at 35. But it's really just some mindset shifts. And if you're open to thinking differently about what the possibilities are, now Tina has just announced, I just gave my retirement at work and I'm going like to a foreign country and I'm going to travel around and have these adventures. And you might think, oh, I can never do that. Like Tina must be something special. Now, Tina is amazing. Yes. And she was willing to put in the work and take action towards it. So it's really just the belief that it's possible. And then things start falling into place. So let Tina be an example that this is totally possible. Tina and I started working together about a year and a half ago, and she has accomplished a huge amount in a short period of time. And when people become empowered, they just make their own dreams come true and their life changes. And they say, I would never have thought this. If I look back, like looking back, it's like, this is amazing. But 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, you wouldn't have thought that this was a possibility. And just being open to what is it that I want to accomplish? Because the two things that prevent people from accomplishing their life goals is time and money. And if we can remove those by becoming financially independent, then you get to spend your life doing things that you love instead of it being drudgery or I've got to. One thing I hear, I've got to pay the bills. And so, but you can actually have fun and pay the bills at the same time. So I don't think life has to be some kind of a prison. And if it is, it's of our own making because of our beliefs.
So true. And that's one thing I did is I started out with Lisa's kind of self-guided program. And a lot of that was because I had a lot of backstory. I had an investment planner actually tell my husband and I when we were first married that we didn't make enough money for him to even help us. So I was worried about approaching someone like Lisa because I thought, well, everybody's just going to tell me I'm helpless. So I did her self-guided program first because I thought I can do this. I can work through this, step-by-step guide of how to allocate my investment accounts and what to do to get where I need to go. And then after, it's probably about a year, maybe about a year, I realized that I need more help. It's not just the step-by-step things that Lisa outlines very well in her program and gives to you very simply. It's the mindset. It's the community of like-minded people. It's all of that support that you need when you're trying to make this huge life change and design your life and get to a place where you want to be. So that's where I really had leaps and bounds is working on the mindset things. And Lisa, one of the things that helped me the most is when you taught us about deserve levels. Can you go into that a little bit for our viewers?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I've noticed when I first started teaching about financial independence or how to invest, I noticed that some people would, and I'll give some examples, but some people would get to a certain point, either when they receive money, like they're okay earning money. There's a couple different ways this works out, but some people are okay earning money, other people are not. But once they get the money, then they think, I've got to get rid of this. Like this is making me uncomfortable. I've had clients say, just so you know, I am comfortable with debt. I've had other people who got to a certain amount in their accounts, and for some reason it's like the $3 million mark. And you may say, oh, I'm perfectly comfortable with having $3 million in my investment account. But they stopped investing. They literally stopped investing. They did not tell me, but they stopped investing because they believed that their family of origin would not talk to them anymore if they found out how much they had in their account. And so I see all sorts of things like that are running actually on a subconscious pattern. And so we don't realize what's going on. We see cycles, or we keep kind of repeating things, or we feel like we're bumping up against a ceiling. And it's just these conscious beliefs or these subconscious beliefs. We have the studies show out of Cambridge actually show that kids start picking up on money ways to think about money, ways to interact with money between ages 2 and 3. And by 7 years old, it's formed. The way that our beliefs about money, whether we think it's a grind, it's really hard to get money, or money is easy, or money makes people not like me, or whatever the money story that gets formed, that's formed at age 7. And so we have these little scripts, these little money scripts that just go in our head, just constantly cycling. And we believe, like Tina did, I can't be helped with money. I don't, like, there's no help for me because somebody told you that early on. And so we have these deserve level things where, and it comes out in different ways for everyone. And it's just something that we need to bring to the conscious level. So one of the things that I actually recommend, if you notice that you're going through, like, I know I'm more capable of earning money, right? I could earn more money, but I'm just not. Or why don't I get a different job that pays more? Or why do I never take advantage of the opportunities that I have? Or why do I feel that it's impossible to save money or invest money or keep money or grow money? And all of these have to do with our preset deserve levels, which are just running on a subconscious script. And anytime we get something that goes above that, and a little alarm goes off in our head and says, oh, you're unworthy or undeserving of this amount of money. Now, this can be with relationships, it can be with love, it can be with foreign travel. We have different deserve levels in different areas of our lives, but money tends to impact all the other ones. And so it's really important that we address this and look at it. And part of that is just bringing it to the conscious awareness, which is, if I get money, every time I get money, I just spend it all, or I don't feel like I'm deserving of earning more than my parents did, which is something I see a lot, then we have an alarm go off. And what happens is we start sabotaging. So we might sabotage our future wealth. We might go into debt. We might spend everything. And we think, oh my gosh, why am I repeating this cycle? It's because you've triggered your deserve level and you've hit up against that deserve level of what you feel deserving of. And so we just want to sit down and say, okay, what are the money beliefs that I have? And what are the cycles or the frustrations that I continually feel, like, over and over and over again? What's the pattern? And then just sitting down with that and just journaling, being willing to do the deep work that it takes to move up the deserve level, because the good news is you can actually increase your deserve levels. And so just saying, writing down what you want and what would make you really happy with money. And you can go crazy and say, I would be really happy with $100 million in my bank account, but your brain's not going to work with that. So you need to kind of go step by step, like, what's realistic. A lot of people, in order to purposely trigger the deserve level, I say, are you comfortable making $30,000 a month? Some people will say, oh yeah. And other people are like, no, no. And they freeze. So we've just surpassed the deserve level. Now, in some cases, I'm talking to people who may actually be really close to that number, 30,000 a month. And I just picked that one because it seems to kind of make the point with people. Most people think I would be okay. I would be super comfortable with earning $1 million a month, or we can even start at 100,000 a month. That's not actually true. You can't go from whatever you're earning to in multiples of millions or hundreds of thousands. Your brain won't accept it, and you'll be sitting on the couch in the fetal position after a month or two thinking, I don't deserve this. I've got to stop this. I've got to get rid of this. And so the deserve level is actually a fascinating thing that most people don't even know about. But if you exceed your deserve level, you will sabotage your success. And so we want to continually push that deserve level up. And it's not about chasing riches. It's about maxing out your capacity and your ability to, like, what is your true capacity? If you didn't have false beliefs about money, what's your true capacity? And it's really reaching that level of happiness and that level of accomplishment. And oftentimes money follows that.
Yeah, that is so true. I mean, even 6 months ago, I would have never posted that I retired on Facebook. I wouldn't have done a YouTube video. I would have felt like, oh, everybody's going to be jealous. Everybody's going to be mad at me. And because my deserve level wasn't there yet. So I had to work on it. And now I know I deserve to retire. I'm happy I'm going to retire. And I want to share that with everyone else too, because if it's that simple, a year and a half worth of hard work and working on mindset and working on the planning and it's there. So we can do this. We can do this, people. Just listen to Lisa, follow her steps, do the things that she's telling you to do. And if you want to, reach out to her and have her work with you one-on-one or with the group of Mastermind. It's an amazing group, and I'll be in there with you. So it'll be a fun time. So Lisa, there's a couple other things I wanted to touch on if you have a few more minutes.
Yep.
You are really a good proponent of celebrating the wins. Why is it so important for us to celebrate even little tiny wins?
I think for me, everything's about the neuroscience. Like, well, it makes us feel really good, right? And sometimes we focus on, if you've read Benjamin Hardy's Gap versus the Gain, sometimes we focus on our shortcomings to where we want to be, but we continually move the goalpost. So we're always in a shortcoming versus like, wow, I got a lot done today. Or I just accomplished something that I've been thinking about doing for a really long time. And it puts us in a state of gratitude. And it actually, so if we celebrate our wins, and every night before I go to bed, I always go through at least 3 wins that I had. And sometimes it's like a list of 15 if it's a really good day. But I always celebrate my wins because it elevates, I think, our energy and where we're at and our thinking pattern. And gratitude has been shown to put us in kind of that higher vibration of thinking and feeling. We're just open to a lot more things. So that's the first thing. We're also training our brain to focus on and recognize the positive and the wins. And so because what we focus on grows. So if I focus on everything I'm not doing, then more is not getting done. Like I'm going to be doing less and less because I'm focusing on that. But if I focus on the wins, energy goes where focus is. And so if I focus on the wins, I'm going to have more wins. And it becomes this cycle of success. And you're just training basically the neural pathways of your brain to be more and more successful. And I think, Tina, that's what you've done as you've gone over, because you've actually done all of this in a relatively short period of time, but you were willing to do the work. If you focus on the wins and your progress, because you had a clear goal, you knew where you were in regard, and that goal wasn't changing. It stayed the same. So you had a date, you had a time, you have a goal, you have a location, and you knew what you're doing. So this goalpost stayed the same, and you were able to see your own progress. And everything compounds, whether it's good or bad. And so you compounded your wins and just created more momentum. It's like kind of getting in shape. It's easier to stay in shape than it is to get in shape. And you actually create this positive momentum. And in finance, we call that compound, like compound interest or compounding. And I think that sharing wins and celebrating wins, does that same thing. It compounds all of the good, and it gives you more of that, and it just trains your brain to focus on more of what you actually want, instead of, I did everything right except for this like one little thing, and I'm going to focus on that one little thing. That's not going to get you faster. It's not going to get you any, faster to your goals, but focusing on the positive just trains your brain to focus on, the positive and what you really want.
Oh, that is awesome. I was just before we came onto this call to do this video for you, I was at work and they just announced that 4 people at my job are getting laid off, like instantly, clean out your desk, goodbye. And I was so grateful that I had this plan in place. So it's so important to do your lifestyle design, to plan for your future, to plan for your retirement, and have it ready to go so that if something happens and it doesn't happen your way, you're still protected and on the way to your goal. One thing I wanted to talk to, I know some people might be out there thinking, I know I did when I first started your class, you encourage us to have an extra $500 a month to invest. And that's part of growing our retirement account, is having constant money to put into it. When I first started, I was like, I don't know if I can find $500 to put into this. So can you talk to us a little bit about that, about finding ways to have that extra money?
Yes. And the cool thing about the investing now is you can actually buy fractional shares. So I think the most important thing is to educate yourself and getting started, because once you start seeing success, even if you're putting in $25 or $50 or $100 a month, and you start to see that grow and you think, oh, I didn't have to do anything except set this up, right? and now it's just growing on its own, that actually becomes a really positive thing in and of itself. And people start thinking, wait, now what if I put 200 in there? Or what if I put 300 in there, or whatever they have? And so I think that learning is the most important thing. And just doing it, you don't have to know how everything works before you get started, because the momentum is going to carry you. So once you learn how to invest and realize how it works, then you automatically, your brain starts opening up to, now, wait a minute, how can I make some more money to put in here? Because if I put more money in, then I can retire even faster. So the positive momentum comes with people having success and building confidence, and things that build confidence are reducing debt or paying it off altogether. And then also investing, like buying shares, and then also tracking. So those three things build confidence. If you know where you're at, you know you're putting money towards your own future benefit and growth, and then you're also eliminating debt, which makes us feel free. I had some clients that paid off their house last week, and they sent me a screenshot, paid in full, and they were so excited. And they said, it's like a huge relief. We just paid off our house, and now we never have to worry about that again. We own it 100%. And so I think there's these things that are really important psychologically to us that we don't realize we're carrying this extra burden or a stress. And I want people to be in a situation where they're just feel peace about their finances. And so I've done all sorts of crazy things, like at my kitchen table, I made fishing cleats for a year and a half at least. I've had an eBay business where I sold designer men's and women's clothing. I worked an extra job. My day job was from 7 to 3, and then I went to work again at 4, and I worked a part-time job. There's all sorts of things you can do. If you have a drone, you can make about $5,000 a month taking pictures of people's houses and doing little projects like that. Like, there's so many ways to do side hustles. I think you're only limited by your own creativity. And the analogy I like to use, and it's actually true, is that there's $3 trillion that changes hands every single day. And I'm just going to take my bucket and dip down into that. We have this pie fallacy, which is that if I earn more money, then Tina gets less, or if Tina earns more money, then I get less. And that's actually not true. So if I take a pie and cut it into 8 pieces and Tina takes 2, then there's only 6 left for me. That doesn't exist with money. So if Tina makes more money, that has 0 impact on how much money anyone else in the whole world is going to get. But that's a myth that people have in their head. Like, if I earn more money, I'm selfish and greedy, I'm taking from this pie. It just expands. You're creating value. And so I've seen people start businesses like Bananagram, where they're writing on bananas messages and they're mailing to each other, and they're making millions of dollars. So we're really only limited by your own creativity. And I think it's a mindset problem when we say, oh, I can't earn more than like $5,000 a month, or $7,000 a month, or $12,000 a month. I think that's a mindset issue, honestly, where we've put ourselves in a box, or we think that that's the case, but it's not actually true. It's believing, first of all, that you can do it. The biggest progress people make is if they work on their beliefs first. Then they kind of have this rocket ship of progress. If you learn all of the skills, but you still have the same old habits of thinking about money and what your capacity is, it doesn't matter how much you know about stock investing or the market or trends and cycles or the set it and forget it system. It's not going to work as well for you, because you're still trying to operate under the old beliefs, and it doesn't work. You have to have a new paradigm. You have to believe differently. You have to expect differently. And I see people quadruple their income. I see people who went from not knowing how to invest in the stock market to making more in the stock market than they do in their get the returns in their stock market, or more than they make going to work full time for a year. And this happens in a relatively short period of time, but it matches the work that you're willing to do on your mindset. And some people don't like this term mindset, but I find it one of the most powerful things. You have to have the skills and you have to have the mindset. And as those two increase, then you automatically just increase. And the amount of money that you have, your confidence, all of that, your empowerment, all of that increases together. So if you find yourself thinking, I can't, and whatever is behind that, that's actually true until you believe, nope, I know this is going to be possible. So I was a teacher, a school teacher, and they don't overpay school teachers. And I said, I'm going to retire at 45. And everyone said, that's impossible. And I'm like, so I'm still going to do it. And my own mother said, I don't think that's a good idea. And she still thinks that today. And I'm like, well, too bad. It's already happened. But I don't let other people's limiting beliefs about money impact what I can or cannot do, because that's there. When people speak about money, they're speaking through the lens of their own perception. They're not speaking about your capacity. So if somebody is saying something, I don't have to take that on personally, because that's just their view. That's their personal limitation, and that's their work to do. You can believe whatever you want, and what you believe is possible is generally possible. So it's really about up-leveling your mindset as well as your skill set at the same time.
What's the phrase you like to say about not allowing anyone else to
Um, which one, Tina? Is it,
say
can you,
something about you that
oh
isn't
yeah.
true?
I have a really hard and fast rule, and that's I never allow anyone to say anything about me that I don't want to become true. And so I'll just stop them and say, that might be true for you, but that is not true for me.
Yeah.
And some people try to group me in their own limitations or their own limiting beliefs, and I refuse to cooperate. So I want to be inverse paranoid and believe that the universe and every person I meet is for a purpose and a reason, that it's all for my good. And so I'm not going to go down the road of, I'm going to be operating my life under your limited perceptions. And most people don't actually think that they should be or could be working on their mindset or their beliefs around money. And it's the one thing that changes everything, because money is something that we use every day, and it impacts so many different areas of our lives. And so if we have a really healthy relationship with money, it's a keystone habit, and that just bleeds out happiness and success into all other areas of your life.
Yeah. And you talk about, I love that when we join the mastermind, our children also get access to your program. So you talk about your legacy of wealth. Is there anything you want to share about that?
Yes, I think that if you are going to teach your kids to ski or ride horses or whatever you do, whatever your hobbies are, we automatically teach our kids that. And so kids learn to ski at 2 or 3 years old, and they're like fearless because, my mom and dad taught me this. This is normal. Well, if you teach them how to invest when they're little, then they think it's normal just to have money and wealth and have money growing in investment accounts. So I started investing with, one of my nieces was 3 months old when we started an investment account for her. She's 13 now, and she's got a nice little bundle of it's not cash because it's invested, but she has a nice bundle, a nest egg there. And I've taught a lot of my nieces and nephews how to invest, because I feel like they have so much time for compounding to take place. And it's very, very important to me that we pass this on to the next generation. So you can't teach what you don't know. So a lot of people, the best that they've been taught is to save money and to stay out of debt. But the money is in a, 0 point nothing percentage savings account. And so it's not growing. So inflation is eroding that. They don't know how to invest. They might be in a good financial situation, but their money's not growing. And that's a couple generations ago, you would save the money and then try not to outlive it. What we should have happen is the older you get, the more money you have, because it's compounding over time. And we're going to use the safe withdrawal rate, which is 4%, which means if you take out 4% of your nest egg, you'll never run out of money. And with that idea, then 96% of your nest egg is still growing. So you can always pull out 4%. But I have seen women who've come to me, men who've come to me, and they say, my financial planner says I have a plan, and at 80 years old, I'm at $0. I've run out of money at 80. I'm like, that is the worst possible plan. That's the most vulnerable age. You do not want to run out of money at 80 years old. You should have compounded. You should have like $15 million at 80 years old. You shouldn't be down to zero. That's not a plan. That's bad. And I've literally had several clients who've said that to me. So over time, it should get easier and easier. So if you start investing with a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old, they're going to be a millionaire if they have birthday money that's put in there, Christmas money, whatever kind of money that's put in there, and showing them and using this account that would be set up with an adult and showing them this is how it works. We put in money and we invest it, and we don't spend everything right now, but we put it in there and we let it grow. And so our kids trust us, and it's an easy way to make it so that we can pass on this legacy of wealth rather than like, hey, good luck, hope you make it. And I don't think any parent wants that for their kids, but we don't know how to teach them. And so if we have that education ourselves, I think one of the biggest payouts in the long term, besides the piece that you have, is also passing this on to your children and creating this legacy of wealth within your family. And so it empowers your children, empowers you. And we, in the program, we have all of the kids, whether they're 6, I think one of our youngest investors, like 4. And then we have, 24-year-olds, 21-year-olds, 10-year-olds who are reading investing books, and they're interested. They're like sponges. And if you show a child an investment calculator, they're all in. And another thing I recommend for kids is matching anything they're willing to invest. So if they put in $50 from grandma, then you put in $50, and all of a sudden they're like, well, I just doubled my money. And so kids are very easy to teach, and they understand quickly the power of compound interest. So I think it's one of the biggest gifts that you can give your children.
I love that so much. Well, you are the biggest gift that I gave myself, and I really appreciate the fact that you are willing to teach us these things and help us to build our wealth and legacy of wealth, generations of wealth. Is there anything else, Lisa, that you would want to say before we say goodbye today?
Yes, I would say that give yourself permission to live your dreams. You talked about people at work losing their job. We also have people who have lost siblings, and like, instantly, and they realize how precious life is. And so when you get to the end of your life, what are the things that you are going to cherish, and what are the things that are going to be important to you? So just go for it. Just give yourself permission to live the best life that you possibly can.
I love that. Thank you, Lisa. I'm going to put some of your links in, but is there just a quick way that people can get in touch with you if they're interested in spending
The
some time with you?
website's probably the easiest, lisasmith.com, and all the social media is on there, and a contact form as well.
Okay. All right. Thank
Thank
you
you,
so much,
Tina.
Lisa.
Bye-bye.
Everybody.